Hey, welcome back to the Spring to Life podcast. I'm Caitlin, your host / hormone health coach, FEMM educator, Pilates instructor, and creator of the Spring to Life method. My goal is to promote feminine body independence and share stories of female resiliency to help you love your body more and unleash your inner superpower, your period. In this episode, I want to give you some details on what me being a FEMM educator actually means. I'm going to walk you through my feminine body independence program where I teach you how to use the FEMM method to chart your cycle, and we're going to talk about the benefits and everything you get out of this program. I am so very proud and so excited at this point in my business with the Spring to Life method to be a FEMM educator, because from the outset of the creation of this business, my goal was to be able to empower other women to live with their natural cycle, to be able to forego hormonal birth control, because I experienced just a really rough time on hormonal birth control, and I didn't even really realize that that's what the root cause of a lot of my symptoms and issues was, until I had a hormonal IUD, I had a Skylo. When I got it removed and was able to live without it for the first time in 5 years, I could not believe how different I felt. It was just this magical feeling. And I was already becoming educated on hormonal health, on cyclical health, on cycle syncing. And I just was amazed at how little I knew about my body, about the physiological functions of my body. And I knew that there were other women out there that could benefit from this knowledge as much as I was. And I made it my mission and my goal to be able to educate and reach and influence as many other women as possible, and at least inform them of their options, because there's not a lot of awareness around the negative side of hormonal birth control. It's this, it's handed out like candy. You go to your primary care, you go to your OBGYN, and it's very easy to get a prescription for hormonal birth control, often without any discussion of the negative side effects. I know that me personally, I was not told about the effects that it could have on mood disorders, that it could cause or worsen anxiety and depression. Definitely was not told that the pill was a class 1 carcinogen when I was handed that prescription at age 20. So it's just really wild to me how freely this drug is handed out. And there are alternative methods that maybe require a little bit more attention to detail, but I think you will learn throughout this episode that attention to detail helps you to develop a much deeper relationship and connection to self, which can then open up this world, especially if you are dealing with body image issues or self-confidence issues or just feeling uncomfortable in your body. I think having this knowledge and awareness about yourself is so empowering and freeing. At least for me, it was really eye-opening, and I was able to let go of a lot of hangups that I had around my body once I understood what I learned about natural cycles. So that is why I've created this Feminine Body Independence Program, FBI, in which I teach FEMM charting and also integrate principles of my hormone health coaching and cycle syncing in order to help you to really live the fullest with your unique cycle. So let's talk first about what FEMM is, feminine education and medical management. It provides the science of women's reproductive health based on sound physiological principles. The goal is to provide an understanding of women's reproductive health. It teaches women to understand their bodies and recognize hormonal and other vital signs of health so that they can make more informed healthcare decisions. We cover everything from women's physiology to hormonal activity to cycle variations and their application to family planning. So it's very empowering and it provides you with informed consent. So it is possible for a woman to go through the FEMM program to learn cycle charting and now be able to make an informed decision that at that time in her life, hormonal birth control is the best choice for her. I would say probably she's not going to reach that decision after going through this program, but the purpose of this program of FEMM education is to provide women with all of the information they need to make sound medical decisions for themselves without, kind of glazing over perhaps the negative side effects or problems that could arise down the line. So let's talk about how I support my clients in feminine body independence. The first step before we even dive into the FBI program and learning FEMM charting is a discovery call. This is just a quick, 15 to 30 minute call, depending on your needs, where we're going to go over what your main concerns are, what your main goals are, what's going on in your life right now, a brief history of what you've been experiencing. And from there, we're going to identify if this program is correct for you, if it's going to help you move the needle in the direction of your goals or achieve your goals long term. So say we go through discovery call and yes, FEMM charting and FBI is for you. From there, we're going to book our first session. And beforehand, I'm going to have you fill out a detailed health history form because it's very important to have all of that information on hand. And even before going into this experience, so that I'm able to fully support you and know, what to look for, what is, possible for you based on historical patterns. I would also suggest, I highly recommend for my clients to go to their primary care practitioner around the beginning of our time working together and get a complete blood panel run, because a lot of times, especially if you've been on hormonal birth control, there are nutrient deficiencies. So yes, of course, I can suggest supplements that might be helpful for you, but without knowing exactly where your levels are at, you might be spending money on supplements that you don't need, or we might be missing something that we wouldn't have otherwise known about. So it's important to get those B vitamins checked, get your iron and your ferritin checked, get your omegas checked, vitamin D, all of these things. And I say comprehensive because a lot of times you can go to your doctor and ask for a blood panel and they might look at you funny because you already had your physical and run a simple lab and be like, yes, everything is fine. Well, they're not looking in detail and they're not running all of the labs that you need. You want to know where your thyroid hormone's at. You want to know all of these things. And you also might get like an A-OK, like even you get this complete blood panel with your doctor and they'll be like, yes, everything is fine. You're going to want to request those labs from them, request the paperwork so that we can go over it together. Because sometimes being in the normal range isn't normal for you. You could be on the low end of normal and that is low and you need supplementation or we need to make adjustments. So it's really important to have that piece of knowledge going into this program. So once you've completed your health history, hopefully you've gotten some blood work done, we're able to schedule our first session. And this is where we learn the basics of FEMM charting. We go over anatomy, we go over what our biomarkers are that we're looking at. And in the FEMM method, we only use external biomarkers. So we start by observing cervical mucus. And so we're going to go over how our hormones affect our cervical mucus. There's lots of imagery in terms of the hormonal fluctuations, how your cervix changes, how it all affects your reproductive organs, and also how it is connected to your brain. This is not an isolated incident of having a period just in your uterus every month. Everything in your body is connected. And I think this really, learning these things about your body really drives it home how important it is to have a healthy, regular cycle, to be ovulating each month and having a regular period in the correct range of time, 24 to 36 days. So once you get the basics of charting down in your first session, we're going to use both a paper chart and the FEMM app to start charting so that we can kind of cross-reference. We're also going to go over kind of like a diet and lifestyle audit. We're going to identify places where we can make adjustments to your diet and your lifestyle in order to support healthy hormones. So this could be anything from eating more healthy fats to working on your sleep hygiene to getting more exercise. And one of the great parts of being a part of this program is that you also get access to my cyclical Pilates app. So you have these phase-specific flows at your fingertips, and there's also some meal plans and recipes included in there, so you're able to kind of integrate these pieces bit by bit. So after your first session, you get a month to start charting your cycle. I, of course, am available to you as a resource throughout this month. You can email me, but the beauty of having access to my app is that there is a direct message feature right in the app. So you can message me at any time and I will get back to you to help you to clarify whatever it is that you need. You can send me pictures of your paper chart or screen grabs of your charting in the app, and we can, go back and forth, and I can give you suggestions as we go along. After that first month, we will have your second session. In the second session, in terms of your FEMM training, we are going to start layering in the second biomarker that is used to identify your fertile window, because that is actually the main goal of FEMM charting and of fertility awareness. It's to identify that fertile window, because if you're not trying to conceive, if you do not want to become pregnant, it is important to know when you're fertile so that you can exercise extra caution. On the flip side, if you are trying to conceive, then you want to know when that time is so that you can get busy. So we use cervical mucus observations and LH testing in order to identify that fertile window, because ovulation really is the main event. You can't have a real regular period without ovulation first happening. Once we get that information all down and understood, you are going to be able to start to incorporate cycle syncing, because at this point we have at least one cycle charted, so we can kind of identify the different phases of your cycle, the different energies. There are so many visuals in this program, so it's really educational in the sense of understanding what your hormones are doing, what your energy is doing. I think one of the biggest points that I love to drive home is that you are not supposed to feel exactly the same every single day. That's not to say that you should be like flat on your back, not able to get out of bed when you have your period, but resting during that time is natural. It's what your body needs. So you kind of turn up and turn down the intensity of what you're doing throughout the month based on your hormonal fluctuations. And this cycle syncing can apply to your exercise. You can start to integrate those Pilates flows really acutely with your phases in your cycle. You can start to kind of change up your diet, and I can help you and guide you on how to adjust your macros and just kind of the types of foods that you're eating throughout the month in order to support your body the most. And really any way that you want to start cycle syncing, you can apply it to your work life. You can apply it to your social life. There are so many avenues that we can explore and that I can support you on this journey. Another thing that we start, because we want to be safe, especially if you're not trying to conceive a child. Another thing that is layered into this education is timing intercourse. And you do have to be quite observant of your cycle, especially in that first cycle of charting, because you're just getting familiar with your biomarkers. But there are rules that change as your knowledge of your cycle evolves, kind of coming to the loosest enforcement of it by the end of the program. So you go through that second cycle of charting. You still have access to the app. You still have access to me via DMs. We have our third session in our third month scheduled. This is a very special session because if you are in a committed relationship, if you have a partner, you are welcome to invite your partner to this session. We go over, it's really a big overview of everything that you have learned in the 2 previous sessions. But because your partner is involved, and if you have a partner, I highly recommend having them in the session, because especially for men, it's really hard for them to perceive how much our bodies, our energies, our hormones, our minds change throughout the month. So for them to get this visual understanding of how much your body is changing throughout the month, how much of a fluctuation there is, they are able to gain a deeper appreciation and understanding for what's going on, and also be more understanding of how you're timing intercourse. So it is very, it's eye-opening. This is like, it's a very special session. It's intimate, of course, but we go over, the family planning rules, quote unquote, or not planning if you're not trying to conceive, but you want to be on the same page with your partner on these rules in order to be able to apply the FEMM method to your life with the most accuracy. During this session, we'll also kind of fine tune your diet and lifestyle changes, any cycle syncing, any supplement adjustments that need to be made, and really just go over whatever it is. I'm here to support you on this journey. Throughout that third month, you still have access to the app, you still have access to flows, you have access to me via DM. We will have a 4th session to review your charts, to make sure that you have everything you need in your tool belt moving forward in order to just be confident. And it's, wow, with the women that I've taken through this program, it has just been so awesome to be able to watch their eyes opened to what is going on in their bodies. I've been told that it's a very nourishing experience, there's so much more, like I said, self-appreciation that is gained. I've had women go through the program with PCOS that started with cycles that are 45 days long and have brought them down to 36 days within 3 months with very minimal changes to diet and lifestyle. So it's really, really just amazing what can be achieved in this amount of time. And like I said at the beginning, I'm just so proud to be able to offer this program, to be able to support other women in this way. Like, I just got chills because this was my goal at the beginning of my business, and I'm able to do this now, and I'm able to see the wonder that it provides other women, because it is so wonderful to me. And I'm really excited about this. Every time I get to work with women in this capacity, it is so life-giving for me and so inspiring for me to continue going forward. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, I would love to discuss if this program is for you. I'm going to drop the link down in the show notes. If you would like to book one of those discovery calls and discuss your concerns and your goals with me and see if the Feminine Body Independence program with FEMM charting is the right fit for you. I can't wait to meet you. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Spring to Life podcast. Please check out the show notes for the resources mentioned in this episode. Like I said, I'm going to drop that link for you to book a discovery call if you are interested in learning more about this program to see if it's the right fit for you. And if you learned something new or if you resonated with this conversation, please share it. Tag me in your Instagram stories. I'm at Spring to Life Method. Leave a 5-star review or simply share it with a girlfriend because all women deserve to know their superpower.